Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-herrera, and you are watching my exclusive channel show. I don't know what it's called yet. Just go with it. So some of you guys have been watching me recently on my uh, show that I have with my daughter, the THN channel, which is the Homeschool Network um, show. And it's we talk about stuff when it comes to homeschool stuff, education stuff. But on this specific channel, I want to talk about things that come to mind that I might be uh, outside of the THN show that are maybe sometimes even not necessarily child appropriate. Like I wouldn't be talking about some of the stuff that I'm about to get into here with my daughter on air. It's really more of the conversations that I have with my wife and other adults. And I've been wanting to do a show like this one for a while now. I just, it's always been around kind of like the conversations that I have with my wife, with friends, with family members, time, other constraints, and I've never gone around to do it. Now I'm going to give it a wing. So I hope whoever is watching continue supporting by just watching, giving me your feedback. I mean, I don't mind, good or bad. I want to hear it. It's only going to make me better because that's what I choose to do with any feedback I get is to leverage it to make the show or, and myself, of course, better. So, just don't be afraid to comment on below and, or for those of you guys that know me personally, message me. But anyways, let's roll the intro, yeah? Which for now, by the way, is going to be the same intro I have for the THN show. But let's roll the intro. All right. Yes, that is, like I said, the same song I use for the THN show. I don't know if I'm going to keep it here or give it to THN since I've been using it now for some time. I don't know. I'm gonna play with some ideas. But I really want to open up the show here with talking about a single topic, and that is around two stories that for some reason I don't know why they have hit home for me. I don't. Not because I can directly relate to them, because what I'm about to talk about has never happened to me necessarily, but they came up maybe in my newsfeed more than other stories. They are local to my city, so if for some reason someone is watching this show and they're not from San Diego, they are from my city. I mean, they might have happened similar in other cities, in other states, in other countries, but anywho, these stories. The first one is about a family member that allegedly at this point is being accused of basically burning his family to death, parents, siblings. And then the next one is about a very, very recent one about a father that killed not only himself, but the mom and children, his children, with in both stories having victims survive the attacks from their own family members. Um, one of the things that I hold dear is my family, and I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this probably hold as well. They hold their own families, very close to heart, and will protect them against anything and everything. And you hear these stories, and you can't help to wonder, like, what is going on with, or what would lead people, right, to do such harm to the point of taking someone's life. Now, in the first story, where the older sibling, and again, if I'm not updated, by the way, if somebody's seeing this and it's like, hey, you missed something, let me know, right? But last I saw is the older sibling was allegedly sleeping outside, and the house caught on fire. He even came out on out on the news and was sobbing and sad, and he was being interviewed by different reporters. And as it turns out, after I guess investigators dug in deep enough, oh, okay, so it was actually the son who set fire to the house. Again, to the point where family members burned alive. Right. It just what would lead another family member to take the life of someone that you probably give Christmas gifts to, hugs, congratulations, follow each other on social media, are there for very touching moments, maybe graduations, um, parties. It just, it blows. I see my children, right, and I couldn't fathom with the idea of one of them doing something like that to my family, or vice versa, me doing anything to my family. And the reason I want to talk about it, much like the second story, by the way, and very obviously very very similar narratives of a family member attacking to death the rest of the family members, is because in talking with my wife earlier, I was telling her that I believe that while it's not the cure, right, for preventing acts like this, I think a big part of why people do things like this is, um, maybe, possibly, I'm not a psychologist and I understand that, but possibly, the lack of communication with people that they feel they understand them, right? I'm a talker. Anybody that knows me, I'm a goddamn talker. I love talking, obviously, to a microphone and to a camera. I'm actually having a blast here. I don't care who might critique me, laugh at me. I really don't care. I enjoy doing it, because I like having my thoughts out from my head, where I'm actually talking to myself as well, and out into the world. Okay. And I think a lot of times, as connected as the world is nowadays, we don't do that enough. We don't do that enough. We talk probably a crap load in our heads a lot, but we don't do that enough out loud. And I think, sometimes saying things out loud gives you a different perception. I know it does to me. I think it does to a lot of other people. You're talking and then boom, you're like, shit, I can't believe I just said that. I can't. Wow. Okay. Let me retract myself, or let me correct myself. And I don't think we do that as often in our head. I know I don't. I'm talking and talking and talking in my head sometimes, and I'm convincing myself. Which that's the other thing I told I was talking to my wife about, is I think, and many people would agree, we are and can be our worst enemies. A lot of people that have managed to leverage being their biggest cheerleader, have spoken about how successful they can be, and they motivate themselves to do anything. There's tons of videos out there to do that. I do it sometimes to help other people and motivate them. People do it to themselves. But I think what we often do more is the opposite. Is, we convince ourselves sometimes to the point that it's okay. We justify somehow in our head to even think about hurting a family member or family members. And that shit's scary. That's scary, because I think anger is a big part of that. I think in many ways we are numbed, and we have been numbed here for quite a while over time, to accept atrocious acts that other people do. And then if we do, we're like, yeah, I can probably do that. I can probably, take someone's head off, and not being hyperbolic about it. Right. I hear it all the time, and I don't understand how people say stuff like that so lightly. We all get mad. I would be a goddamn liar if I said I haven't been mad enough to say shit that I know I don't mean. But I definitely have never gone to the point of thinking things of like taking a stranger's life, let alone someone in my family. And I think, again, going back to this whole talk that I wanted to get out there is, exactly that, talk. A lot of people in my lifetime, in my short lifetime, have come to me multiple times in different environments that I've been in, and just to talk. Maybe because not only am I a great talker, but I'm a great listener. I really do. I'm sorry, listener. I really thoroughly enjoy hearing people's dilemmas, and then where I can and how I can, and whatever level I can, contribute something that someone walks away and says, shit, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate the talk. Don't know what it is. I get a high off of it. Someone saying, hey, man, thanks. Appreciate it. I that's what I needed. Thanks for telling me that. And I think in many cases, I'm not saying that didn't happen in these two stories that I just shared with you guys, but I think more often than not, you'll hear from other similar stories of the the killers in this case that don't take their life as well, they'll end up sharing, that it was because they weren't listened. And I know I'll get a lot of, heat maybe on this video because I've gotten it in real life. People telling me, wow, those are cowards, or they're this, they're that. Wow, what a bunch of little wussies that will say that. It's because no one listened to me. Well, listen, man, if you are this big, huge macho or whatever person that you don't need anybody to talk to, well, good for you. Maybe you're one of the few percent, and maybe this video and like everything else I'll say won't be for you. Congratulations, move on to something else. But I think there's a lot of people, I can't necessarily say the majority, but a lot of people that can appreciate a good conversation to get things out that otherwise are convincing themselves that they should do. Of course, there's tons of conversations around the web about suicide is one of them, right? And in some of these cases, suicide is what they're contemplating. Like in the second story that I said, where the father, essentially went in to the home where his family lived, assuming he lived at one point as well, and took not only obviously his life, but his wife's life, and his children's life. I don't know exactly how and where these wounds were inflicted on, with a gun, by the way. But still, I mean, to just envision if the children were either sleeping, and how could you just pull a trigger on an innocent life, or if the kids were pleading with his own father to not kill them. It's fucking heartbreaking. I'm having trouble just getting those words out, saying it like that out loud. I mean, you hear it sometimes in a headline, you don't think much to it. You're just like, oh, father killed himself and family. Move on, scroll left or up or whatever. But fuck, I mean, when you hear it, if I can accomplish anything with this video is if you're someone that needs to talk, find someone. If you can't find anyone, fuck, I might not know you, by the way, and I'll talk to you. I really will. Even off air. I don't need to make a fucking show out of this, but I want to do it, and I want to spread the and start, and maybe push rather than to start. Keep pushing the narrative of having a conversation, right? Talk before you act, kind of like when they say, oh, think before you act. Talk. I mean, you did thinking, talk now before you act, because I think that's what the world clearly needs more of, to prevent some of these atrocious acts. Again, I do it a lot, and it has helped me, because otherwise I'll convince myself to do some pretty stupid shit that otherwise I wouldn't do, if I wasn't saying it out loud. And I know for a fact, hell, there may be some of you guys watching this video right now that we have spoken about something that at one point or another you have said, fuck, shit, thanks for calling me, talking me off that cliff. And that's what we need more of, I think, in an era where we are more connected than ever, where social media, we truly need to be connected through dialogue, and I'm not talking about this dialogue where you're on a phone and you go back and forth. I mean, that helps to a certain point. But everybody knows that text messages sometimes are not the best form of communication, because the way I text something, you'll completely read it differently than the way, that I'm intending for you to read it. So dialogue, live dialogue. I mean, even if it's through a phone, hey, that works, but it's verbal dialogue, right? And I think that's what the world needs more out of. And I think I just wanted to get that out there. These stories, for some reason, they just been following me. It could be just an algorithm following me because they're around my neighborhood and stuff like that. But still, they keep jumping out at me. And again, I wanted to get something out there. If you are someone that, you're watching this and you want to, have a conversation, there are so many different outlets for you to get that help. And I'll link stuff down below. I'll do the little bit of research, because it really wouldn't be me making something great. I'm going to Google something for you and link it down below if you need to talk to someone. If I'm the guy you want to talk to, I mean, I'm here. I mean, I definitely will talk to you. If it's a buddy watching this video, well, I'll talk to you. So let's think before we act, and let's talk before we act. We need to value each other, We know that we'll have disagreements. We know we'll get passionate and heated over arguments, discussions. We are human. We I don't think are meant to agree on every single thing. I will feel very different about so many things friends of mine share with me on a regular basis, by the way. Um, but I won't get to the point, no matter how heated, because I talk, right? And I'll share my opinion. And I've had people very passionately share their opinion with me, very openly and very passionately. Yes, that includes sometimes a little bit of cussing here and there. It doesn't hurt anybody. Um, and then we can walk away. And I think that's what we need to do. All right. So that is it, guys. I just wanted to share that, get those thoughts out. No matter how obvious they may sound to you, to a lot of people, clearly they weren't. Um, that's it. That's it. This is one of my first beta tested single solo videos since I'm trying to do this years ago. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I can improve on. And for sure, I will be back. THN, I said it before, is a priority, but I will try to be back with more topics that I feel and find interesting, that I wanna get things out there. Maybe even some interviews that are outside of THN, just right here talking maybe with some of you. That's it. All right, cool. Thanks. Have a good one.